Hey lovelies, before we get into the video, I have to clear some things up. I'm going to be talking about starting another channel. That ain't happening because I was thinking about starting a movie review channel because I want to get more into watching movies because I barely do it. I really think I need a buddy system. But in making this video, I realized ain't nobody got time for that. I barely have time to keep up with this channel. I could start up on the next one. Movies is a form of art, so therefore, Swan creates commentary about movies. Yeah, yeah. The brain gymnastics I have to do to make it okay. So I might be mentioning about starting another channel. Yeah, that ain't happening. So I'm just clearing that up in the beginning. Okay, enjoy the video. Hey lovelies, it's your Swan Creator bringing to you a brand new video. So hi lovelies, if you may not know, my name is Swan. I'm a Trimbigonian artist that has my own art channel called Swan Creates. But I also like movies, and I think I need like a body system or a body double to watch movies because I've never really watched movies by myself. And I think by starting this channel, I can finally watch movies that I've always wanted to, but something always held me back. Like how people with ADHD, like I may have, need a body double in there to clean. I need one to watch movies. It's weird. Our minds are weird and they're buddies. So if you want to check out my art channel, you can check it out at Swan Creates here on YouTube. But I don't have a name for this channel yet. So welcome to my first or second video. So this episode, I'm going to talk about Arlo the Alligator Boy. So when I first heard about it, I was like, yeah, this sounds too SpongeBob for me, so no thank you. And there's nothing wrong with SpongeBob, it's just I was introduced to it when I was a teenager and it was just not for me. When cable came to my country, I was too old for SpongeBob. It was annoying. And nothing against SpongeBob. I think I would have liked it if I got it when I was a kid, not as an adult. So with Arlo the Alligator Boy, I watched it because of Straw Hat Goofy over on TikTok. Love his content. He's so good. And I keep hearing people saying it good and the songs are a bop, and I'm like, alright, I'm gonna give it a try. And I was delightfully surprised. So all in all, the movie was good, but it could have been better. So here's my also disclaimer: I will be spoiling this movie. You will be getting the whole plot, and I will also give my views on what could have improved the story. Okay, so this is the plot. So if you don't want me to spoil it, I will say it could improve, but the video is still good. It's a movie I'll watch once and not like again, but I will listen to the music over and over again because it's that good. Okay. So let's get into the movie. You can tell this is my first time doing this type of channel, right? Because it's weird. So the movie starts off, it's where we find well, maybe I should look up the characters because I suck at names. Leave me alone, I suck at names. Okay, there we go. Okay. I found the cast. So here we have, the movie starts off with Edme. I don't know how to say it. Edme, she lives on the swamp. Yes, I love Shrek. Edme, and she saw this basket coming down the bayou. I'm sorry, songs just come to my head. Words trigger songs in my head. So bayou, and in it, it's a baby. And she's like, oh my gosh. And then we saw Arlo. Was he 13 or 14? He reached teenage years, and on his birthday, so we have a whole song of him singing in the bayou, and basically the gist of it is his whole life Edman told him, don't let people see you here. So when the river boats pass by, Arlo always wants to like meet the people. He wants to see other people. It's always only animals in the bayou, him and Edmine or Edme. I don't know how to pronounce her name. And he always just wants to go to meet people to get stuff. So he has a whole song about it. And when somebody saw him on the boat, he ran because his whole life Edme told him, don't let people see. So it's his birthday and he's happy and stuff, and then she gives him his bird band, because usually when a baby is born they have a bird band about the parents' name and their gender and stuff. And and then when they think, okay, cool, she said, we have to go and find your father because we don't know who your mother name is. So the tag just has the father name and the mother name, if I could rip off so he doesn't know. So she said, he's in New York City, so you have to go and see him there. And when we think, oh cool, he has to wear a mask or wear a hood or like slither in the shadows, no, she just said him, go ahead. So his whole life she told him, don't let people see you, but when he reached a certain age, just go ahead into the sea. That was one of my issues with it. So I was like, okay, cool. So he goes off, and because he doesn't know how to interact with people and he doesn't know that not all people are nice, he just went off and just going up to all these people. He went into a tongue, but him being an alligator wasn't the problem. An alligator boy wasn't the main problem, it don't seem. It seemed like his over friendliness was the main problem. So somebody in town saw him and called somebody by the bayou who's like, hey, I have someone here who could make it good at your place, because they what do you call it? They have like a museum, like a quote unquote freak show kind of exhibit where they'll have the wonders of this and this alligator and all kind of stuff. So the person called him and like, hey, I have something you could add to your exhibition. And they're like, oh my gosh, with this we can make a lot of money. With this alligator boy we can make a lot of money. So they went in town to capture him. And Arlo was like, what's going on with you guys? Because he's not accustomed to people being mean to him. His whole life was Edme, so he doesn't understand. But when they start pulling him and stuff, he's like, oh, okay, I have to get away from you. And then that's when we're introduced to the best character in the whole show, Birdie. I love her so much. The whole show could have just been Birdie. And okay, I'll stop. So Birdie is this huge woman. All I wanna be is see you turn into a giant woman. She's a giant woman, and I love that about her. And Birdie is jumping high up in the sky. She's punched. She'd lift up a train. She'd lift up a train to throw at these poachers who wants to capture Arlo. And I'm like, okay, her backstory is she was like she was experimenting in a lab since she was a baby, and that's why she's super strong and she could jump real high and she could lift up a train. So, and she's like a loner because, and then of course Arlo got attached to her because she saved him, and she's the first nice person he met outside of Edme, who raised him away from people and then just send him into the world of people. So on the way, he's like, Birdie, because I think I keep saying Birdie because he likes her name, so he constantly sings her name, Birdie. And he's like, I'm on my way to meet my father because Beauregard, wait, what's his name? Arlo Beauregard. I tell you, I suck at names. Beauregard. And he wants to meet his father because he wants to know where he comes from, because every child deserves to know where they come from. Bad or good, they need to know. So she's like, Arlo, I'm a loner. I'd like to be alone. I want to be anything. But he's like, Birdie, you're my friend. I need it, you know? And she's like, okay, Arlo, I will help you reach New York to find your father. But as soon as you find him, I'm gone. And he's like, oh, okay. All right. On the way, they went into a barn where they met the next best character in this whole show, named Felicia. Oh my god, that's the name. Felicia. Love them. Fabulous. Don't know their gender, so I'm saying them just in case. And I'm like, I love you. And then these misfits of characters come along because they scam people by going boxing and say like Felicia can't box. And then when the person think they're winning, Felicia would just beat their ass up. And then they'll scam everybody out of their money and then they'll run and go in their van and go away. So Arlo and Buddy came up with this ban about when it happened, and then a whole shuffle happened, and then Arlo and Birdie is on the bus with them, and they're like, hey, let's go to New York because Arlo wants to meet his dad. And they're like, no, we're not gonna do it. And then I must have blacked out because that happens. I concentrate on multiple things at once. And somehow they rescued a mermaid, but it's a reverse mermaid where the head is the fish and the legs are the man. And yeah, and then they're like, oh cool, you saved our friend, so yeah, we'll bring you to New York City. New York. So they reach New York. Everybody is fascinated by everything that's happened. But before that, Arlo had a talk with Birdie. I also go back because I kind of forgot, because this is what got me real mad about this movie. This part got me mad about this movie. Arlo when they was camping out in the night before they reached New York, Arlo woke up and realized that Birdie's gone. And he saw her down by the beach and he's like, oh, what's wrong, Birdie? And she's like, oh, this and that. And he's like, sing it out, because it's a musical. If I didn't put that out, it's a musical. So she's singing and that girl got vocals. I love her so much. She got vocals. I was like, oh my god, Birdie, you sing. You sing, Birdie, you sing. And then we get her backstory. We're living in a world where we have an alligator boy, we have a short little man, a really short little, like an imp, we have a cat girl, we have a reversed mermaid, we have the beast that the poachers, who by the way are still following Arlo because he's their meal ticket for some reason. We have a giant furball called Felicia because we love them. And then we got a giant woman named Birdie. Guess what her backstory is? Go ahead. Guess what her backstory is? She's fat. That's her backstory. That's her backstory. She's fat. You see my body, right? You see that why that irks me so much. Birdie is tall. She's big. She's beautiful. She is, love her. She has super strength. She lift up a train. She lift up a train and pelted at these poachers. She just went on Superman up onto a moving train with Arlo in her hand. This girl, woman, her backstory could be, we live in a world where we have all these different characters, and the big girl's problem is that she's fat. Potential was right there for Birdie to be an experimented on child, and she's running from these people who want to take her back, like 11, 7, whatever that character's name is in Stranger Things. Yeah, she had that potential because it's right there. It's right there. But she's running away from everything because she was normal, quote unquote, normal as a kid. But when people stopped growing, she continued to grow and people stopped looking at her in her eyes. And that's when she realized that nobody's really seeing her. Anybody only sees the fat girl. And everything was right there. Everything was right there for her to be like a cool girl. Why is her backstory the fat girl? That's what upset me so much in this movie. I was like, Birdie, you deserve better than that. Oh, she's angry because she's fat. Okay, let me get out of this because I'm still mad about that. They reach New York. Arlo meets his dad. His dad's an asshole. He kicked him out. Okay, technically his father said, yeah, I'm not your dad and I could give you some advice. They do a whole musical thing, and then he said, okay, Arlo, that's all I could give you, and then he kicked him out. And when Arlo came out, he's looking for his friends, but they said that they would only help him until he meets his dad, and then they'll leave. And he met his dad, so they left. They didn't know the outcome. They left. So again, we had a good bop with him realizing like the whole situation about the world is not nice and it's not all black and white and blah blah blah. Love that song. And then he ended up in a sewer, which ended him up on the shore where Birdie and them found him, of course. And in the song, he and his father song, he was talking about this pier with a broken down building, like how it have towns or places people that live on a pier. I don't know, I don't live in America, I'm a Trimbigonian, hey. And it's broken down, and where they ended up is where the father wanted to break down that place and build this huge industrial place for something. And Arlo was like, hey, this is the place that my dad says you want to break down. And all the people like, oh, but it has some potential. Nobody has any emotional attachment to this building. So I don't give a shit about this building, okay? Nobody has emotional build. Nobody. So it made no sense why they wanted to run and save the place. They don't know the place. Nobody has emotional attachment to it. Why is it important? Anyhow, going on to the story, there's some kind of party where his dad is going to announce that his plans to break down the pier and whatever. And this is the next thing I like about the show, was that they depicted rich people in a certain light that I loved. You had to watch a movie to see it, because I'm not going to speak on it, but the way they depicted rich people, I loved it. It was real good. And then the dad talked about it, and then Birdie helped Arlo like raise up above the crowd, and Arlo's like, why is this, blah blah blah. And before the father could talk, the poachers who was following them all the time came and was like, oh my gosh, yeah, we want you so we could chain you up and have you on display. It's deeply disturbing. But anyhow, so no, wait, before that happened, the father took Arlo away, and the father ran away, and Arlo ran after him like, dude, I don't care if you don't want me after this. I could leave after this, because he does have a home to go back to in the bayou. I could leave after this. I just want to know where I came from. Are you my dad? Because he never confirmed it. I'm just saying his dad because I don't care. I do not care for this character. His dad's an ass. And it's like he was finally going to say something, and then that's when the poachers came, did the thing, and they captured Arlo, and the father was like, hey, can you stop? And they was like, yeah, we could stop if you give us money for him. And he was like, no. And then they was like, oh, I thought so. And then they just dragged Arlo away, even though the man is like super rich. He could literally pay to take Arlo away and keep his secret intact, but nope. He's like, all right, go ahead, take him. Now, something about his dad. This is his dad's character. He always wears these capes. He has a pointy nose. You notice the characteristics of him? You see him? Good. So then something just grabs up Arlo and it's flying overboard. And Birdie just looking up like, Arlo, and when you look, it's his dad. And he has wings and he has eagle feet. His dad's a mutant. Like X-Men mutant. And that's when he tells the story that he grew up on the pier that he wants to break down, and everybody bullied him because he had wings and chicken legs and being on eagle legs. And he got fed up of being bullied and he moved out from the pier and went into New York City. You know, the stereotypical story. And he got rich and he hid his features because once he put on the long pants and the shoes, nobody's seeing it, and the cape is to hide his wings. So he got rich and famous. He found the love of his life, which is a black woman who we never saw her face. And I don't know if she died giving birth to Arlo, but whatever, you know. Because the voice of Arlo is a black person. This is his first movie, and I just, his voice, Birdie. His voice is like beautiful. And yeah, so when he fell in love with the woman, she made Arlo, don't know if she died or whatever. They just had a scene with her on the bed and Arlo in the bassinet, and the dad just saw that what Arlo looked like and put him in the river to go down the bayou. And he was like, would you ever forgive me? And I was ashamed and I didn't want what I built to like crumble down and blah 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 blah. And Arlo was like, oh my god, you're my dad, and hug. And he was like, can you not? And then the father was like, you know what, I'm not gonna break down the wherever the place is. I'm going to fix it up and make it to its former glory. And then Arlo and his friends live there, and that's the end of the show. That's the end of the show. Now, I don't care about the end of the show because we had no emotional attachment to the pair. None. So I didn't get, it could have just ended with him hugging his dad and like, I finally found where I've been, and that's it. But they added the pair like if that means something to us. The only thing it means is to his dad. That's it. And also at the end of the movie, the poachers turned good. They chased a boy across country to New York City, tried to capture him with the intent of chaining him up as an exhibit. And somehow at the end of the movie, I missed it because I have a 3-year-old nephew and he takes up a lot of time. Somehow at the end of it, they're good. No? I don't get it. It doesn't make sense. And that's the end of the movie. Now, the movie is good because the main plot line of the whole movie is Arlo wants to find his dad and know where he came from. And that was consistent throughout all the thing. But the added stories, because the movie could have been the same without the extra characters, all the special, all the people who was on the bus. I don't know what the name, you call them cornies. How this movie could have been better. This is just my opinion. If you like it, cool. This is just my opinion, how it could have improved. We start off with the storyline that Arlo was told his whole life not to show his face. So his mom was, what's her name? Endine told him, I know you want to know where you came from, Arlo. Here's your bird band. You could go find your father, but you have to stay hidden. That would have make more sense. And then let's say he hood slipped in the town, and that's when they were like, oh. And then when the poachers came, and they're trying to hunt him down, and Birdie came, and she herself is like an experiment, and that's her backstory, not the fat girl. That she's an experiment and she's on the run from these people and she wants to be safe and blah blah blah. Good. So the Cornies, I don't know their names, but the leader of them is called Teeny Tiny Tony. His name is Teeny Tiny Tony. Okay, so Teeny Tiny Tony and his group, they could have been from the pier. So this is how we could add in the whole, you know, the whole thing about the pier. They could have been from the pier and they know that's in disrepair, and they could be going around scamming people for money in order to fix it up. Right? So when Arlo and them came, he joined them on their crew and he's like, hey, we want to do this, and like, hey, we have a thing, and hey, I want to run away from the people who want to capture me. That's pretty. So you're like, okay, cool. So they have a mission. They all have a mission for something to gather together. So they could have stopped off at the pier, the building pier, to stay the night before they go into New York, and that's when Arlo could have fallen in love with the place, and then they could have a more emotional thing, because that's the first place he could have walk around without his hood, without a mask, or obscuring his face in any way, because it's filled with other people who looks like him, and the rest of the group of Teeny Tiny Tony and the group. And then Bertie could have felt welcome because people were looking her in the eye instead of whatever, and you know, like that could have bring in the pair, the emotional substance of the pair. And then when when Arlo finally got to meet his dad and he realized he wanted to break the pair, that's when he and the father could have a little fight and be like, nobody could stop me, this is my whatever and stuff. And then Arlo, dejected thing, has his song in the sewer, goes back by the pier. Birdie cheers him up. Then he says he wants to break down the pier, and they're like, no. Also, why all these characters look like this? There's this one shot when they were showing the pier that some green stuff was falling on a character that was there. It seems to be added after the whole thing because it doesn't fit. The character looks too big for the space that it is. The perspective is off. But there's this one shot where it had this green stuff falling on a character, and I think the whole place has toxic waste in it, and that's why it has so much mutants, and that's why how an eagle dude was able to contribute to a birth to make an alligator boy, because it's the mutation. However the mutation works with your body, that's how you mutated. Good. So they run into the party to talk to the dad, and he was originally supposed to talk, don't break down the pier, this is the homes for people and blah blah blah. Instead he blurts out why you don't want to accept me as your son and blah, or tell me what you want. Then that whole scene with him and his dad evenly, and then we can get back the poachers like, oh, they was following them all along, like how with SpongeBob the movie we just get these little clips of the poacher just looking for him, not the little comedy skits we got with the... I just didn't like these poachers. They're doing a horrible thing, but they're trying to make them seem enduring because they're stupid. I just don't like them, especially coming down to the end where they're nice. They just got ripped. And then the whole thing, and then his dad reveals that yeah, he was born there and that's why he's mutated, because there was something in the water or something in the air or whatever that caused all the mutations, right? And then when he had a reunion with his father and he's like, I'm sorry, because his dad's a piece of shit. Because usually when somebody like doesn't want their kid, they at least have it in a, like, make sure they reach someplace safe. He didn't know an May in the bayou. He didn't know if a bunch of crocodiles would have come and ate Arlo. He just put him in the bayou and just going down the bayou. We don't know what, there's so much more predators besides alligators that have ate that baby. He did not know 100% that baby would have reached someplace safe. That's what make him extra shitty for me. If it been maybe he knew Adme and they meet up somewhere and he like put her there, but nope, not even that. Just put the baby in the water at the end. Even Moses' mother, his sister, at least followed it and see where the baby went. Nope. He just put the baby in the water. Bye bye. Hope you survive. But anyhow, coming on to the end, he does get the change of heart and he fix up the pair, and Arlo finally has a place where he feels like he belongs and he doesn't have to hide. Birdie finds a home where she doesn't have to run away. Maybe the dad pulls some strings so they will leave Birdie alone. And the Cornies finally get their home and they don't have to run all over the place scamming people for money. And that could have been the end of the movie. It could have pulled all the plot points they just threw into the movie together instead of the one plot line that made sense, which is Arlo trying to find his dad. That was the only plot line that made sense, and it was the only plot line that was consistent throughout the whole movie. So that would pull the movie together loosely. But the way I just said it, it could have made all the plot lines, all the things that just randomly threw together, much more cohesive. Instead of like, why do we need the Cornies? They actually added nothing to the whole. They added nothing to the story except for Lisa, because they are awesome. The end. Love them. Nobody added anything. Nobody added it. They could have literally been not in the show and the show would have ended up exactly the same. I lie? If you watch a movie, I lie? Alright, all in all, this movie still gets a 3 out of 5. Yes, I know. After all that criticism, 3 out of 5. The animation is beautiful. I love 2D animation. It's my thing. I love it. I grew up with it, so I might be biased. So, animation. Love it. Character creation, character, or the characters, character design. Wow, that's the thing I like to do over my art channel. But character design, love it. I love Arlo's design. So good. Birdie is a giant woman, a giant woman. I love her. For Lisa, even the cat girl Alio, which is very close to Arlo, her character design is so good. I love the reverse mermaid, and even though I do not like Arlo's dad, he's a piece of shit, I like his character design with his wings and how they had the nose. I was like, how is he so sharp? What is he? What? Because I was thinking, what is he? Because of how sharp his nose and long his nose was, like, and how his hair was slicked back. I was like, yeah, you're something. I don't know what, but you're something. Because I was shocked when he opened the door and he was like a normal human. I'm like, how? Because even in the show, he said, you could watch both of us and see how me being your dad isn't possible, right? Piece of shit said that to him. That asshole said that to him. Yes, you could tell I don't like him. I don't. So all in all, I do give this show a 3 out of 5. Would I be watching it again? No. Would I listen to the soundtrack? Yes, I will sing it loud from my shower. It was good. That soundtrack was good. Animation, good. It was really fluid, really nice. Everything visually was beautiful. The main storyline got its beginning, middle, and end. Everything else was like, you're gonna do it because you're gonna take out that pair that made no sense except for the father. It had no significance to the main characters, only the dad. Yeah, so that's my analysis of the show. Do you agree with it? What will you change? Would you keep it the same? Please let me know. So this is just a prop cup. I do it because I like to fiddle with stuff. And yeah guys, thanks so much for watching my first episode of this. What movie should I watch next? Seriously, give me some recommendations. Maybe then I could finally sit down and watch a movie, because I like watching the Avengers trailers. I like watching Straw Hat Goofy's analysis of it, but I've never sat down and watched any except Iron Man 1 when it came out. And now I don't feel good watching the other movies because it's in a series and I have to do things in an order. So what movie should I watch next, guys? Alright, Thanks so much for watching my video, guys, and I'll see you when I see you. Bye.
Yeah.
Bye.